We're in for a really exciting summer, guys, because Season 3 of Stranger Things will premiere exclusively via Netflix's web streaming service on the 4th of July. The science fiction horror series, which has been away for more than a year and a half incidentally, is one of the most popular shows of the last decade, with millions of fans around the world watching the adventures of a group of friends in the 1980s in the mysterious fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana. Season 3 has got a lot of people talking. And as you would expect, that has resulted in theories being conceived about what it might have in store for us. In this video, we'll take you through some of the best and most interesting theories we've seen. Millie Bobby Brown's Eleven has, of course, been one of the main characters in Stranger Things since the very first episode of Season 1 way back in 2016. But back in 2017, in the first episode of Season 2, we were introduced to Linnea Berthelson's Kali Prasad, another one of the test subjects who was kidnapped and experimented upon at Hawkins' lab against her will. Eleven traveled to Chicago to meet her, where she discovered Kali obtained psychic powers that were different to her own. As a result of the experiments Kali underwent in the lab, she can induce mental illusions, and she displays a limited amount of precognition. We also found out she was given the designation number 8. Ever since her escape, the very angry Kali has sought revenge for the injustices she suffered at the hands of her captors. Well, there's a theory that in Season 3 of the show, we'll be introduced to more test subjects, and that they'll have powers different to both Eleven and Kali. The theory also suggests that the newly introduced test subjects will be equally angry about what happened to them, and that could mean their perpetrators are in for a terrible time when they seek revenge collectively, especially if they join forces with Eleven and Kali to do so. The Russians are coming to Stranger Things, guys, at least according to this next theory. Prior to the release of the Season 3 trailer, a number of unconventional teasers were released. When the teaser that announced Season 3's premiere date was released, it included shots of an old-school computer monitor, and one of the words on the screen was written in Russian and translated to 11. In addition to that, there was a screen with a load of letters on it, and hidden in those letters were the words, "When blue and yellow meet in the west." This has several possible meanings. It could simply be referencing the colors of the shirts worn by Eleven and Mike in one of the Season 3 posters, suggesting the pair will head to the West Coast. It could also be a reference to the colors of the hands on the clock in the new mall, suggesting that when the hands meet on the left side of the clock, something significant will happen. But it could also hint at that aforementioned Soviet invasion. The Ukrainian flag is blue and yellow, and Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union in the 1980s when the Cold War was in full swing. And Russian spies have been referenced in the show several times already. When Netflix first started publicizing the release of the 3rd season of Stranger Things, they released all of the upcoming episode titles. Inevitably, that resulted in fans looking for clues, or at least what they believed were clues, in those episode titles. The first episode of the new season will be called Suzie, Do You Copy? And this title in particular has resulted in a lot of theories being conceived. Obviously, the first thing fans did was try to figure out who Suzie was. And while we've never met a character who goes by that name in the show, we have met a Susan, Max's mother and Billy's stepmother. Played by Jennifer Marshall, she only appeared in one episode to date, Season 2's The Mind Flayer. And she didn't get much screen time, but this theory suggests she'll play a big part in Season 3, or at least in its first episode. The Do You Copy part of the title suggests that walkie-talkies are the way in which people will communicate with her in the episode, so maybe she'll get sucked into the Upside Down and that'll be the only way to contact her. Of course, Suzy could be a completely new character as well. Matthew Modine's Dr. Martin Brenner has been a prominent character in Stranger Things since the very beginning of the first season. Eleven and Kali believed Brenner to be dead, but one of Kali's victims in Season 2 suggested that he was actually still alive, and that he knew where the doctor was. After that revelation, Stranger Things executive producers Dan Cohen and Sean Levy confirmed what the victim had said to be true. As a result, fans of the show have theorized that the antagonistic character will return in Season 3, in spite of the fact that he's not listed among the cast for the upcoming episodes. It's not clear whether any appearances from Modine's character would be in the flesh or as a result of a hallucination, like when Kali made him appear to Eleven in the form of an illusion back in Season 2. But it's strongly anticipated that he'll make his presence felt in some capacity. Eleven, who actually refers to Brenner as Papa following her incarceration at his hands, still has a lot of unresolved issues with the character, so an appearance in Season 3 would help to provide her with closure. Season 2 of Stranger Things introduced fans to Erica Sinclair, the younger sister of one of the show's main characters, Caleb McLaughlin's Lucas Sinclair. Played brilliantly by Priya Ferguson, Erica is a very switched-on young girl who doesn't seem to think very highly of her big brother or his friends.
Could you please shut up?
And the number of times she spoke her mind, particularly when it came to Lucas and co., made her a very popular character amongst the show's fans. Stranger Things creator Matt and Ross Duffer have unsurprisingly promised us that we'll see more of Erica in Season 3, which is great. And there's a theory that she'll be a very important character going forward. You see, the theory suggests that she knows all about the Hawkins National Laboratory and everything that goes on there. And it was conceived with very good reason. If you look at some of the drawings that hang on the walls of her bedroom, you'll see sunflowers and rainbows are very prominent in them. Now, if you remember Eleven's mother, Terry Ives, you may recall her experience at the lab had left her in an almost vegetative state, in which she would repeatedly utter a sequence of words that included sunflower and rainbow. So far in Stranger Things, over the course of 2 seasons, we've seen nasties including Demogorgons, Demodogs, and the Mind Flayer, and even evil sentient vines. In the 3rd season of the show, there is no doubt whatsoever that we'll be introduced to a new type of threat, and one fan theory suggests it'll be inspired by the legendary late filmmaker George A. Romero. Romero was, of course, best known for his series of gruesome and satirical horror movies about a zombie apocalypse, starting with 1968's Night of the Living Dead. One of the main reasons for this theory are that 2 of Season 3's consecutive episode titles are The Bite and The Battle of Starcourt, which may be paying homage to Romero's Dawn of the Dead, which saw a group of civilians facing off against legions of the Walking Dead inside of a mall. Could it be that Hawkins is set for an upside-down induced zombie outbreak? In the trailer for Season 3, Jake Busey's character Bruce can be seen walking down a corridor with blood on his neck and a maniacal look on his face, while 2 women have blank zombie-esque expressions on their face. Those characters could actually be zombies. Alternatively, a new threat could come in the form of creatures from the real world, the creatures in question being rats. In the trailer for Season 3 of Stranger Things, it was very noticeable that a lot of the nasty little rodents were crawling around. So maybe it's the rats that are being referenced in the episode entitled The Bite and not zombies after all. There is, of course, another Season 3 episode entitled Mall Rats, which is a more obvious and explicit reference to the creatures, as well as another episode entitled The Source, which could suggest that rats are the source of whatever contagion is plaguing Hawkins in the 3rd season. Up until very recently, rats were thought to be the main way in which the bubonic plague spread, so there is a real-world precedent for this. Only in the case of Stranger Things Season 3, they could be spreading something a little more otherworldly that came from the Upside Down. Heck, maybe they're the source of that zombie virus that's been theorized already. Another theory suggests the rats might come together to form a larger super creature, like a giant rodent-based megazord. As a result of the mysterious goings-on in Stranger Things so far, 2 very likable major characters have lost their lives. In the 1st season, it was Barb Holland, the student and best friend of Nancy Wheeler, played by Shannon Purser, who was dragged into the Upside Down and found dead with a slug-like creature slithering from her mouth. In the 2nd season, it was Bob Newby, the Radio Shack manager and love interest of Joyce Byers, played by Sean Astin, who was killed by several Demodogs at Hawkins' lab. That's led some fans to theorize that another major character whose name starts with the letter B will meet their maker in Season 3. The first character who both comes to mind and fits the bill is Dacre Montgomery's Billy Hargrove, Max's stepbrother and an antagonistic racist bully who first appeared in Season 2. In the trailer for Season 3, Billy appears to have a nasty-looking wound on his arm, perhaps indicating an infection from something in the Upside Down. There's also an episode called The Case of the Missing Lifeguard, and given that Billy is a lifeguard, the outlook for the character certainly seems to be grim. One of the absolute most important parts about Stranger Things, something we've come to rely on as an audience, is the almost unconditional friendship between the core characters Mike Wheeler, Will Byers, Dustin Henderson, and Lucas Sinclair. With Max Mayfield and Eleven also having joined the original quartet, their friendship seems as strong as ever, and they seem ready to take on whatever the Upside Down throws their way. However, as Season 3 of the show approaches, fans have theorized the group may have a big falling out. One of the posters for the new season has the tagline, "One summer can change everything," and depicts Dustin, Max, and Lucas enjoying the 4th of July celebrations while Will and Eleven look a lot less happy, and Mike is holding hands with Eleven, looking somewhat torn between her and his friends. Maybe Will and Eleven's experiences in the Upside Down have left them isolated from the group. Then there's the Season 3 trailers. We hear Mike say, "We're not kids anymore," see Dustin being abandoned by the rest of the group, and see Will looking longingly at a photograph of him and his friends. The kids are entering their teenage years, and that often causes changes in both individuals and friendship circles. In all honesty, given the title of the final episode of Season 3, this is a lot less of a theory and more of an obvious prediction, but it's still worth mentioning. It's the theory that the final battle of Season 3 will take place at the new Starcourt Mall in Hawkins. The last episode is called The Battle of Starcourt, which leads us to believe that's exactly what will go down. In the final episodes of previous seasons, the stars of Stranger Things have had all-out battles against the threats from the Upside Down, and the new season looks set to continue that trend. It also leads us to believe that there could be more to the mall than meets the eye. Maybe, for example, the Hawkins lab is now operating beneath it. Or maybe the mall is a cover-up for the mysterious Lynx Corp. Lynxes are, of course, wildcats that can be found in Russia, hinting at connections with the Soviet Union. So maybe the Russian threat and the Upside Down will come together at the mall and the kids will go up against them collectively. Are you excited about the third season of Stranger Things? Do you like these theories? Do you have any of your own? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great videos like this one. Bye for now!